happens. We've had some pretty bad luck with deck checks today. The one that's just happened for our secondary feature match with John DeCrock and Josh Sly has yielded another error. Apparently, John has registered 4 Izzet Charms in the main and 1 in the side. Total of 5. It's pretty illegal. He's starting off with 1 game loss. So, not an ideal start to give out another game loss. I think my favourite thus far has been in like round 3 or 4. Ad nauseum player forgets to desideboard in game 1, and then we notice she's made a deck rego error, and in game 2, so she basically loses to her deck errors, and it was unfortunate to watch.
It was also a very unfortunate deck error.
Yeah, it was. She registered basic island, and she had a snow-covered island in her deck.
Yes.
1. Magic. So over on Ben's side, we've got 2 Kitchen Finks, 1 E-Witness, Viscera Seer, Forest Swamp, and Temple Garden. Not only is he prepared to combo off, he's also prepared for the Blue Moon matchup. Dominic's side, we have Supreme Verdict, a Liliana of the Veil, Serum Visions, Snapcaster, a Shambling Vent, Fetid Heath, and Lingering Souls. It's really good to see Shambling Vent making an appearance in Modern. Dominic less prepared for the Blue Moon matchup, but we'll see how this goes.
It is. I think it was a very close hand for Dominic. He really wasn't sure whether he should keep this one, I think. He thought for quite a while. Just missing the blue mana. So.
It's really hard. Like, if this had any kind of blue source, he could Serum Visions and straighten out that draw. Unfortunately, he's looking to cast Lingering Souls, Liliana, and nothing.
Yeah.
And he's drawn a Flooded Strand. It's not as good as it gets.
That's quite a good draw for him right here. So he'll be happy with that. How good do you think Lingering Souls is in this matchup?
Truth be told, getting in for a 1 is not something that's super impressive. Blocking, not really something you're looking to do. This is an Esper control deck. We can take a brief look at Dominic's list. He's got some Wall Vermin, Snapcasters, Sun Titans, Lingering Souls, Kitchen Finks, as well as things like Condemn and Detention Sphere. He plays a Sphinx's Revelation, and an Elspeth Sun Champion, a Gideon Juror as well. It looks like a bit of an Esper Walker's deck.
It is Esper Walkers, it does seem, but it's a bit of a spicy list. Lots of 1-ofs and some 2-ofs.
Where are the gifts on given at?
That's what I was looking for.
With this many 1-ofs. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 1-offs, not including the mana base and sideboard.
Yeah, I was really looking for those gifts ungiven, but it looks like he's just gone for the traditional Sphinx's Revelation.
Right now we are looking at a Viscera Seer getting in for damage. Maybe Lingering Souls is better than we thought.
I think Lingering Souls is quite reasonable.
Sure.
It's just going to make quite a few bodies, and
Ben's looking for a turn 3 combo here. Oh, sorry, a turn 4 combo.
he is. So he's just looking to find
Anafenza
or Malira, but he can't cast Anafenza currently. So that is one of the penalties for having multiple basics in your opening hand.
Yeah. You can cast spells, just not as many as you'd like to.
Right. Oh right, no, he has Birds and Noble Hierarch.
Very silly, Daniel.
Yes.
Birds is a little bit off the camera in our defense, but yes, they make mana.
I feel like those cards would be less good if they didn't make mana.
I'm not really a fan of a 1 to cast 0-1 Exalted.
What about a 1 to cast 0-1 Flyer?
I think it makes a great blocker. But you're right, Noble Hierarch would not have reached $70 if...
No, probably
if
not.
It was a 0-1 Exalted creature. It's practically a 1-2, but...
So how many cards does Ben have in hand now? Can we see there? I'm just wondering whether perhaps Dominic is considering playing the Liliana. But the only way I can... Okay, so he has 2. The only way I can really see playing the Liliana being worth it if it was the last card.
I actually think bluffing a removal spell here, even if you don't have one. And Dominic can always, if he's drawn a land, untap and, Supreme Verdict this lovely board.
That is fair. He can flash in Snapcaster as Ambush Viper, block the Kitchen Finks, and then have a clear board off of the Verdict.
But I mean, by doing that, he's basically telling Ben that it's okay to Coco or Cord.
It is true, yeah.
For the third piece, essentially. Is Ben considering a Gavany Township here? That doesn't seem like the line.
It really depends. I mean, it does play around committing more creatures to the board into a Verdict.
I also don't think he needs to commit much more at this stage.
It is true. He does have a fast enough clock right now, I think, to just...
I do find it interesting that he got in there with the Viserys here, as opposed to taking advantage of the Exalted with the Kitchen Finks.
It's possible that he was considering the Gavany Township and then just reconsidered once he's actually attacked.
Do we see the... Yeah, we see
we
the
do
verdict
see
here.
Verdict.
How does Ben respond? By...
Depending on how many lands you're at,
He's
possible
got
it's a chord.
two in his pool.
So...
Oh, I think he's trying to get the best Coco value.
Yes, he seems to be just sacrificing creatures looking for things to keep on top for Collected Company. He does seem to have an Eternal Witness in hand as well, so...
Oh.
Okay, persist the Kitchen Finks.
He could also just activate Township end of turn to...
Yep, he's activated Township just now with the floating mana. So his Kitchen Finks won't have the -1/-1 counter.
No, and he draws the Anafenza, but a turn too late. So he witnesses back his Viserys here.
Yep, swing for 3. Put Dominic down to 9. Yep, Eternal Witness. And he is going to get back to Viserys here.
He can't cast the Anafenza. This is a problem we've seen quite a number of times.
Anafenza is quite difficult to cast in this deck, especially when
you don't have the second white source.
Yeah, yes, I believe that is part of it. But having multiple basics in play plus a Gavany Township, these things are great in certain situations, but not so good when you're trying to cast double white 2-drops. So it'll be interesting to see what Dominic can sort of fire back with this turn. So he's played a land, so we have 5 mana.
So I doubt this is a Shambling Vents activation. He is, however, casting Lingering Souls. Will we see a flashback?
Not. I imagine not. I think that is...
He has to know that Ben's really close to getting something. He's just drawn a Cord as well.
Yeah, I think he has to at least bluff some kind of removal if he hasn't actually drawn something. And then just having the extra 2 1/1s that turn. He opted not to, but it is definitely a consideration.
I think if you double block, you're essentially forcing Ben to act on something.
You are forcing
I think you
him
still
to
respond
do something.
to the fetch. So fetch, and you go in response, Court of Calling. There we go. There we've got it. How does Dominic respond? He's playing a Dismember, 4-path, but he doesn't look like he's got many of those. Oh, we're seeing something.
Is it the path?
But even so, if it's a Dismember, Dominic is still in a non-favourable position. Like,
he is still a little bit behind here. It is a
It
dismember.
is a dismember. And I think if you're Ben, you're okay with this.
I mean, you'd prefer your chord resolved, I think, and you just got to do your thing.
Your chord does resolve,
But-
and he's chorded here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's chorded for 2. He can get an offenser.
He can get an offenser, and then if he has another creature,
When he plays the
it's
other
all good,
anaffenza,
and-
triggers it,
yeah.
sacks the other one.
Which one? Still searching. He's pulled Anafrenza to the front. He's found Malira. He's just choosing which one he'd prefer to get. I think you just want to get Anafenza. Or... Yep.
He goes with that.
Okay, and now the fetch resolves. Dominic goes and grabs his land. So, interestingly, it looks like Dominic does not actually have any counter magic in the main deck.
He
Is
moved
that...
into 3 negates and 2 dispels.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see
Yeah, I
a
agree.
Esper control type of shell that just has 0 counter spells
I
in the
think
main.
in this kind of deck, you want to look at something like, a dispel or a negate, just to keep things going. But
It just seems so difficult to me to play a card like Sphinx's Revelation or these other instances that you're planning to sort of do at end of turn without having a counter spell, because when so many of your threats and your answers are going to be
we're
things...
seeing a supreme verdict here.
Oh, another Supreme Verdict, okay. That's quite good. And
He
yes.
still can't cast the anaffenza.
Yes. And again, we're seeing a whole lot of sacrifices to Viserys here just to get the scry, to try and find something to rebuild. But yeah, depending on how... Okay, so he leaves that one on top and then just lets the others die. Let's see, does Ben play Revelark?
No, he does not.
No, he doesn't have a Revelark in his deck because that would obviously be quite good
Yeah.
right here. But it looks
Looks like he kept a kitchen things on top.
Okay. It is a resilient threat as long as Dominic doesn't have one of his Path to Exiles.
Looked like a voice.
Okay, so Dominic has found a wall of omens.
As a voice, it's a court of calling.
Ah, I see. But Dominic has found a wall of omens, which is quite good here because it's just going to block that voice all day and make sure that Ben has to commit more creatures to the board to get any damage in. Interesting to see that Dominic has left up that 3 mana.
Let's play the guessing game.
There's a few different removal spells that he could have, but because, as we were saying, he doesn't have any counter magic, and deck lists are shared, I'm sort of wondering how important having the 3 mana up is.
I think.
Okay, so Ben just fetching out a land. Tapping 2 and playing the NFNs that he's had in his hand for a while. So he's finally found that second white source. So
He's got a Court of Calling in hand, remember?
he does, yes.
So
Okay, so it
he
was go for the
realizes
throw. Okay.
he doesn't have the third, green convoke aspect of that. I don't know if I would have attacked with the Finks there. I mean, it would not have helped in this situation, but if it had been, say, a Malira, it would have.
And another wall, so
Wow.
the shields are up.
We need a Noble Hierarch stat.
Noble Hierarch would be
A mediocre draw that might
Yeah.
have us punch in some damage. Is about as close as I'm getting to thinking we can get there.
Okay.
We see a Ghost Quarter on the Gavany Township.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if only that had happened a few turns ago, we would have gotten his white source a lot quicker.
That is fair, but okay, we have a 3-drop here. It is the Liliana of the Veil. Okay, it's finally
Sacrifice a
coming down.
creature. Oh, no. He's going for discard.
Discard the last card in your hand, please. It's a cord that he couldn't cast, and I believe that's a Lingering Souls that Dominic himself has discarded.
So
So
there's 2 in the bin.
it's a pretty good deal. Discard your last card, and I'll discard half of mine.
So a witness. Try not to use too many green sources.
And it's just what do you grab back?
You have to be able to do something with it this turn, or Lily's just going to aggressively take off.
It is true. He
So like
seems to be considering that Noble Hierarch. He pulled it to the front, so
Hey, maybe.
get there. Ben's just trying to puzzle through if there's anything that he can chord for, or if he should just grab a value card.
Has he not paid for the Eternal Witness?
I'm wondering whether there's another land off
It's,
screen, or
or his,
'Cause
or
currently
the
I-
Ghost Quarter, Mana and Pool? Is that? I don't see why I wouldn't have done it in draw step, to be quite honest, though.
yes, that does seem like it should have already happened. Ah, he's tapped the extra
sure.
land, so and that, yeah. So we get the Anafenza.
I would have picked the Hierarch.
So
But it looks like, again, Ben is trying to deflect from the beatdown plan and is just going for the combo kill.
it's just so difficult to beat down through multiple walls, I think.
Yeah, I think when he's on full life, you need to at least consider it.
Plus, he also has the shambling vents, so
Yeah. Oh, that is, yeah, it's very true.
okay. So, Dominic just trying to decide whether he wants to go up or down on Liliana of the Veil. Okay, so we're going for a Snapcaster, targeting Go for the Throat, it looks like, and then Go for the Throat on Anafenza. Getting rid of that one, and then we're minusing Liliana, which is going to cause Ben to sacrifice Eternal Witness, and then just pass him the turn.
And looks like the boards have kind of flipped. Ben went from having an impressive board state into a wrap into another impressive board state. And now Dominic's... Oh, is that... Oh, it's just a minus. Sure.
Okay, so sacrificing Liliana to kill half of the Kitchen Finks.
He's got another one in hand, I assume?
It's possible. Yep, there he is.
He is going to incorrectly cast it though.
No, he has the feather teeth, so he's filtered one white into two
I
black.
see, that did look like another shambling run.
Ooh, that's quite unfortunate for Ben. Just
Destroying lands.
draw a land,
Yeah.
play it, go ahead. That is never a good feeling against a control deck.
It's never a good feeling as a combo deck, you know, or as a not a control deck.
And discard? Okay. It's an interesting choice to actually tick up there, to discard
Another Lingers.
Supreme
Oh,
Verdict.
I mean,
Just because so many of Ben either would have like creature, I think he would have cast, and an instant he can cast in response. So I think such a large percentage of the time it's going to be a land to give up a sweeper. I mean, right here, obviously Dominic is very far ahead on board, but I think there's still a fair amount of equity in just having that in your hand.
yeah. So Ben thins his deck out.
Yep.
It's funny how this went from, you know, being almost locked up and then control did its thing.
That is always the way with.
Yeah, it's if control's doing it right, it's gonna be similar to this. I mean, it's hard to imagine 4 tokens taking over the game, but thinking about it, it's a 5-turn clock.
Yeah, that's it. And with the Snapcaster, looking at even less.
Shambling vents.
Oh. Well,
Yeah, there we go. Get back in the game.
Pontiff is cleaning up the board
Pontiff. You know.
and leaving Dominic with
Two.
not a whole lot.
So we've seen Wraths on both ends of the board. I must admit I was slightly more impressed by this sweet Orzhov Pontiff.
That 1/1 body that's
I
left
think
over.
You get to do some pretty sweet things. You just go Pontiff, sack to Seer, sack the other thing, and just wrap your board. It's like a DIY Drowning Sorrow.
It is a very cool card, Pontiff.
Maybe like flaying tendrils. You don't get to scry.
Got some kind of discussion currently about possibly Haunt, how Haunt
Yeah.
interacts. Okay,
So he wants a wall of omens.
sacrificing Liliana to kill the second, the body of the Pontiff.
So Dominic only plays 3 Lilianas, and he's using them very aggressively. He doesn't look like he's going for an ultimate or anything like that. Honestly, I don't think you need to.
It is true that he probably doesn't
Elspeth?
need
Is this
to.
Elspeth?
Ooh. No,
It's
that's
a
just
Sun Titan.
just Sun Titan.
It's just Sun Titan. No biggie.
Bring back Liliana. The value train has left the station.
But in terms of sweet plays, it's up there. Ben plays no main board removal, and I don't see Orzhov Pontiff activating 6 times. The Sun Titan is here to stay.
There is a Fiend Hunter, so he kind of has a chance to remove it, but because Sun Titan is bringing back Liliana of the Veil, it does seem sort of unlikely.
Yeah. I think this unfortunately, this game is pretty locked up. Dominic's getting in there for 8, bringing back Snapcaster Mage, bringing back Serum Visions. It's the only non-removal instant or sorcery he's got there. I guess this is what Dominic's deck does. Dominic's going to go to 5. They remember.
Okay, Serum Visions and Scry. And push both to the bottom. Yep, Yep, and we've got the life totals adjusted there to show Dominic on 5, which is correct. Ben draws for turn, plays a land again, and passes. So he's not facing down lethal just yet, but it is very, very close. Activate Shambling Vents, attack with my creatures, trigger Sun Titan. And what are we grabbing back? Grabbing back Ghost Quarter. Yep.
So I think at this point I understand that the rounds are untimed, but unless Ben's planning on rolling out the Rally the Ancestors, this game is kind of locked up.
But Rally would be so good.
But he doesn't have one, and they both know that.
That is very true. But it seems like Ben is a subscriber to the Never Concede.
He's conceded. But I think it might have been to lethal.
Yes, he was on 1 life with
I
10
guess
power
if Ben went, draw perfectly 2 turns in a row, combo piece into Coco, or Coco into Cord.
Coco into Eternal Witness combo piece. Eternal Witness gets back.
So that game goes to Dominic. We'll see them sideboarding. Over in Ben's sideboard, we see 4 Path to Exile, just making up for the very much lacking removal in the main board. 2 Fulminator Mage, 1 Orzhov Pontiff, 1 Eidolon of Rhetoric, 2 Sin Collector, 1 Fiend Hunter, 1 Pride Mage, 1 Rex Sage, 1 Kataki, 1 Voice of Resurgence. What do you think he'll be bringing in?
Okay, so did we see Celestial Colonnades? No, but we did see Shambling Vents, so Fulminator is a consideration.
I think Fulminator is a consideration with his Rocky Mana base. But anyway. Yeah.
Sin Collector is definitely always great against control, so I think I'd bring those in. Voice of Resurgence, same kind of deal, although because Dominic has sort of trimmed down on the number of counter spells, he does have some in the sideboard, but it will be a little worse there. But other than that, I think that's quite good. You could consider the Pontiff, but I feel like 1 is probably enough, just to clear away some lingering
souls. Would you
souls.
take out the Fiend Hunter for more Path to Exiles, or some amount of Path to Exiles?
I am not a big fan of bringing in Path to Exile in this spot here.
Not even for the gigantic Sun Titans?
I think I'm just planning to win around a Sun Titan or before a Sun Titan comes down. The consideration for Path...
there we go. So I don't know if you guys just caught that. Dominic showed us that he's taking out some Liliana's. I think he's taking out a Sphinx's Revelation as well. Didn't quite catch that. In Dominic's sideboard, we've got 2 Kitchen Finks, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Stony Silence, 3 Negate, 2 Dispel, 1 Verdict, 1 Timely, Reinforcements, and 1 Disenchant. You can see the Relics, the Verdict. And
I saw some Dispels there, which shuts down Company and Cord.
But you don't bring in Negate.
Negate is a lot more difficult to hold up, and it does look like Dominic's deck is going to want to tap out.
I honestly don't think so. I mean, looking through the entirety of Ben's 75, the only non-creature, non-lands that he's got in here are Collected Company, Port of Calling, and Path to Exile.
That's very true.
So, Negate might just be less, so inefficient.
I'm interested to see that there's no consideration from Dominic. It doesn't seem to bring in Timely Reinforcements or Kitchen Finks just to buy time.
There we saw he brought in 3 Sin Collector and a Voice. He's taken out the Fiend Hunter. I imagine he'd probably just trying to recall what Ben took out there. I mean, I take out the Fiend Hunter. What do you think about Scavenging Ooze in this matchup?
Scavenging Ooze seems fine. It's going to just be a creature which you can play early. It's got value in sort of the mid game when you're able to eat Lingering Souls, and or remove things from underneath Snapcaster Mage. And then in the late game, you can just start eating your own creatures, any creatures that your opponent have, and just grow a gigantic threat. So I think Scavenging Ooze is quite reasonable. It's not the best card in your deck, but it's definitely decent. But yes, we'll see whether Ben can get off to a fast start. I did see a bird there, so it looks like he will be able to get that.
It looks like he's got a Horizon Canopy as well, Scavenging Ooze, some card flicking, an Eternal Witness, a Collective Company. Interestingly, he only plays one Wall of Roots. There we go, we see Windswept Teeth into Birds of Paradise.
And I imagine he's grabbing a jewel, yeah. Going to 17 here.
Yeah, so Dominic has chosen to play Relic of Progenitus over something like Rest in Peace.
Yes.
I think the way his deck functions, having the ability to choose what gets exiled almost.
There is that, and as well, it just acts as a cantrip, so it lets you just churn through your deck, keep hitting land drops, keep, removing things, and keep everything going.
We've just had news from one of our other tables. Looks like John DeCock will be going through the finals with the Grizzle Shard brand deck, I want to say. We're not entirely sure. Looks like he managed to get through game 3 despite the 5 Izzet charms he initially registered.
So Dominic starting pretty slowly here, just going with the tapped Godless Shrine and passing the turn. So what does Ben have?
A Viscera Seer.
That's
He bricks a bit on the combo. But would have been better to do something like Viscera Seer into Anafenza or Malera. But Dominic's just not really doing much either, so...
Dominic plays a wall though, which is going to slow everything down. It is quite unfortunate for Ben to not actually be able to play a 3-drop on turn 2, which is always your goal when you are playing these Birds of Paradise kind of green mid-rangey decks.
You're going to see Collective Company?
Yep, but that's it. He gets to play Company on turn 3, which one time and offends a Kitchen Fink straight off the top.
I can see it. It's just, that's how this deck works. Sometimes, Mardugai just gets there. Sometimes it's this Malera deck, and sometimes it whiffs super hard.
And sometimes you're getting birds, yeah.
Not even a Hierarch.
But he did hit one combo piece there, so...
He could Chord of Calling potentially, he could Coco again. Dominic doesn't look like he's got a blue source either, so he doesn't have to be worried about something like
spell. There's his blue source.
There we go. I spoke too soon.
But Dominic will definitely have to at least bluff a removal spell here, I think. I think it would be really, really gutsy to tap out and just hope. Yeah.
Dominic's trying to preserve his life total, it
he
seems.
Is, yeah.
As opposed to setting up an almost perfect mana base. What do you think?
It's a little risky in a deck like this to fetch so many basics, but he did board out Lilianas, so that does reduce the amount of pressure which is on his mana base. But
he does need double white as almost an essential piece of this deck.
So, okay, and we have a relic, so
it's close enough.
That's good enough to stop the combo, and it also means that Dominic can hold up potential path mana as well. So Ben
Would you have brought in Kasali Pride Mage if you were Ben?
I believe it did bring in the one Kasali Pride Mage. It seems reasonable just because it does benefit your beatdown plan as well as giving you outs to potential, graveyard hate cards.
Another Collected Company happening. At this stage, the combo isn't enough through the relic.
But we'll see what Ben hits, because if he hits... so
So
we've got
he's got it there.
one Finks Viserys here, but if he hit two Finks, then he could have still comboed, right? But I don't know that he would have gone for it anyway, just because with the open
White
path
mana.
mana, it's...
But he would have to use that mana to pop the relic anyway.
It's, yes.
Yeah. It's one or the other.
Yeah. Ben just considering attacks, I think.
He's got a Seer and a Malira that can attack.
Okay, he hasn't played a land for turns, so he's just played that and then gone to attacks.
Attack for one.
Yep, get in for one. And Dominic starts to just slowly remove everything from that graveyard so that he doesn't have to pay the mana to Relic to exile everything. He can just exile the single card of Kitchen Finks in response to his Persist trigger. But it is interesting with sort of multiple junky creatures like Birds of Paradise that have already been sort of done their thing, or the second Viserys here, that the sort of tap activation of Relic is never going to be good enough to stop the combo, because in response to the tap activation of Relic, Ben will just sack another creature, it'll get eaten, and then Kitchen Finks will persist back. So does seem like Dominic is sort of struggling to develop his mana base a little bit. He has sort of 2 turns running gone for the Serum Visions, but unfortunately has missed that 4th land drop there. Unfortunately, drawing a card off each one and then scrying both to the bottom both times. I'd be interested to see whether he cracks one of these relics just to draw a card.
I don't think he can afford to.
It does seem difficult. Having 2 also does make the tap activation a little better, because you can force Ben to start sacrificing a large number of...
We see a township. Ben is honestly just going at this from multiple angles.
Yeah, that is the issue with trying to combat the Malira deck, is it has a reasonably solid beatdown plan, and then that reasonable plan becomes very good when Gavany Township comes out.
So I think Dominic's trying to get him to exile 2 cards, but as soon as you sacrifice the Heath, it's in the graveyard. So
yeah, it's possible that there was some sort of misunderstanding there. But yeah, so he's just constantly threatening the combo, and also now is just going to slowly grow all of his creatures to be immense threats on their own. It doesn't take too many activations before Birds of Paradise is actually a threat to your life total.
And he's got 2.
He does.
So what I'm seeing here is, Ben's got enough mana to Gavany Township, he's got enough mana, or he's got enough creatures to then court in response if he needs to. He's got it all.
Okay, so he's just going to swing with everything, activate Township on his own turn, put some counters everywhere, and just get in for damage. It does look like, unless Dominic can find a 4th land and then a Supreme Verdict,
I think even then he's just got the infinite combo.
Yeah.
If you tap out for that Verdict.
Yeah.
So he's blocked the Finks, the wall is going to die due to the counter. What are we seeing here?
Yep, sacrifice one of the relics just to draw a card.
Does he not just go for it?
It does seem like depending on where we are.
Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, so through this, if he's sacking pieces, he's dealing less damage to Dominic.
Yes. Yeah.
Which means that Dominic will have the other relic up. Dominic's just stupid. So he could have the other relic up for when Ben Tudman scries the cord or the red cap to the top to actually kill him, as opposed to just being on infinite life. Dominic's seen enough, he's seen the infinite life and not the infinite damage, and we're going to game 3.
Yes.
We haven't been seeing much of those. Same as last time, there is genuinely not that many game 3s happening.
It does seem that way.
Is it because of the game losses that have been handed out, or is it because of
the 2 billion?
If you look in the corner, that's his life total. He hit 2 billion.
We did have.
I just tried to change the game score, and I failed.
It's all good.
Do you think the boarding changes now that they've swapped being on the play or the draw?
It seems like the players don't think so.
Sure. What do you think?
In terms of what do we have here?
Ben is now on the draw and Dominic's back on the play. Generally speaking, I'd say that Dominic should bring back all the aggression, but it doesn't look like he had much of that in his deck.
Yes. Negate probably gets better.
Yeah.
On the play than on the draw, I imagine. Other than that, the issue is, yes, he doesn't have enough aggressive pieces to try and sort of move forward as a more aggressive deck, like fight in the kitchen finks and try and swing back.
If you're Ben, do you bring in the Rack Sage as well, or are you just purely relying on Pride Mage?
Rex Sage could be okay, but it definitely doesn't excite me as much as the Pride Mage, just because the Pride Mage is going to let you attack through the walls, so effectively with your kitchen finks. But Reclamation Sage, there could be an argument for it, but I'm not sure that you really want another card that essentially is just a chord target. Because you never really want to draw the Reclamation Sage, I don't think. And just because it's a timing thing, like Asali Pride Mage is just a 2-drop, you can just run it down on turn 2, it can start swinging away. Whereas Reclamation Sage, you have to hold it in your hand and hope that he plays in such a way that it's good for you to play it, and then destroy a relic and then combo it. So
Ben's keeping.
we have a keep. And we have a scry, or is this?
You don't really look at it. I'm not really sure what's happening.
I'm not sure if we're waiting to see.
No,
Okay, no, he's just considering the scry.
Darkslick Shores into a Serum Visions.
Well, this is, I think, the best start that Dominic has had thus far.
Yeah.
So that's probably not good news for Ben, because.
Well, it is if this is where his hand is.
Sure.
But I highly doubt that's where we're at.
Darkslick Shores, Serum Visions, go ahead.
I'm on ad nauseum. Pass the turn. You're dead in 4 turns.
If your opponent, you sit down at a random tournament, round 1, your opponent goes Darkslick Shores, Serum Visions, do you put them on ad nauseum? Or is it?
Not gonna lie.
Esper Control.
I think, if I put them on ad nauseum,
Sure.
then I think I'm better off than not putting them on ad nauseum than being on ad nauseum and me dying.
That is
but yes,
true.
Darkslick Shores into Serum Visions, you are snap on ad nauseum until you show me otherwise. And even when you play that Plains, you're probably just waiting to put that Anti-Prison into play.
Okay, but Ben again has the turn 1 accelerant, so we'll see whether he can hit the turn 2 3-drop. Whether he just
I guess that's one of the... Dominic is playing Celestial Colonnade.
He does have 1 copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just didn't see it in game 1.
Mize it.
So
I think that's one edge that, say, Grixis control would have over this Esper control Walker deck, having access to Lightning Bolt.
sure.
It's far more efficient than being like, alright, turn 1 Path to Exile. It almost...
Yeah, Path is never going to be great on turn 1, but it is interesting that Dominic has chosen not to play
There we go.
something like Disfigure.
Yep. Well, you could always dismember it.
Yeah, that is true. In a world of Eldrazi, it's maybe better just to take the damage and dismember.
Absolutely. There are so many times, again, I've been on this Malera deck for a little while now, and my Eldrazi opponent's just been like, disfigure the bird. Well, they haven't, and I've just won on turn 3.
Yes. So yes, Ben does get to play his Kitchen Finks on turn 2 there, and it'll be interesting to see whether we have a really quick win
I've got a
from the
question
natural
for you.
combo.
So, hypothetically, Ben now untaps and uncontestedly plays Viscera Seer into Anafenza,
Sure.
gaining infinite life.
Okay.
Dominic then untaps and, could untap and play a Supreme Verdict.
Uh-huh.
So Ben is on approximately infinite life, and Dominic can't interact with that.
Right.
Do you keep playing if you're Dominic, knowing you've destroyed their combo and it'll take them a while to get a murderous red cap kill coming?
Okay, so looking.
I guess this is more of player etiquette than anything.
Right now, I'm looking at Dominic's deck list to see whether he can feasibly win the natural mill game. It seems pretty unlikely. I mean,
Assume by the time
presumably.
you could mill out Ben, you've given him enough time to hit the red cap combo.
Yeah, but I also have enough turns there to draw something to answer the red cap combo.
Sure. Alright. Alternatively, right, you've answered the red cap combo, and mysteriously the red cap is now exiled. They don't have a Spike Feeder Archangel combo, and so they're
Okay,
on the
so
beats.
Dominic is tapped out for Snapcaster Serum
Serum
Visions. So, moment of truth.
Do you got it? You got it, Ben? Ben is not playing Slaughter
This
Pact.
is the
Ben
slow
is not playing
roll.
Pact of Negation.
If he has it, this is such a sick slow roll.
He attacks.
Oh, no.
Gotta get the
okay.
damage in. Well, no, it's a 4-3. You've gotta get the damage in. BM them a little bit.
You think you attack first just to slow roll it more across multiple
I think
phases?
It's rude. I think it's very, very rude, but I also think Ben does not have it.
Yes, I don't think Ben has it either.
So he's got land. We've just been told to keep our voices
we're
down.
getting
We
too
do
rowdy.
apologize. We were getting a bit excited.
Okay, so
It looks like is that a Malera that I see? Oh, probably not then.
it does look a bit like a collected company, though.
Why not main phases?
I mean, he does know that there's minimal counter magic in Dominic's deck, so it's possible that.
I think you go for it.
I think if you have it, you probably do, but at the same time, this lets you.
There are very few times where this removal heavy deck with possible counter backup is going to be tapped out. I think you need to take advantage of it.
He's just nervous about Dominic. So if he sorcery speeds collected company,
And
Dominic
Dominic
untaps
untaps
the
into
Supreme
Verdict.
Verdict.
Sure.
That's what it is. He's left with basically probably a 2-1 fix, maybe a second fix.
Yeah, we see that as well.
Yep. So punished, but
Is that you know?
it is better to get punished by the dispel, I think, than it
Than
is
the
to get
verdict.
punished by the
Yeah.
verdict. So
2, 3, 4. We can see a Gavin Township activation.
we could.
I would actually rather hold it up if anything, just in case.
Just depends if he has anything else to cast. I think Gavney Township is the thing you do here if you have just 3 lands in hand.
This looks like it's going to be a slightly grindier game. Ben's still got a whole bunch of lands in hand. Pride Mage?
If it's a Pride Mage, I believe you would have played it before attacking.
Not necessarily. I think this is less about the damage race and the ability to remove, say, a relic.
Okay, so we have Dominic taking 2 damage to dismember the Kitchen Finks. So saving 2 damage there. and also removing the ability potentially for Ben to combo with Malira, depending on what he has in hand and what he could draw. Now I'd have to say that Gavin Township looks a whole lot better. Because
I think it always did. I mean, Dominic's very clearly removal heavy. Spot removal heavy, sorry. As well as the Force Supreme Verdict. That seems a lot.
it is.
I remember the last time I played Force Supreme Verdicts.
Yeah. That probably wasn't in modern though.
No. I've never played more than 2 verdicts in one.
Damn. Let's put it on the bottom of the list. Okay, so Dominic has untapped and played a Ghost Quarter. Presumably at some point here he's going to Ghost Quarter that Gavney Township. It's all just depending on when Ben activates Gavney and I can definitely see destroying the Gavney Township once it's been activated before he untaps being the correct.
As a side note, I think it's entirely polite that Ben keeps pointing to the Exalted trigger that he's getting from the Hierarch.
Yeah.
I know it's not something you have to do, and I know a lot of people take advantage of that. I think it's, just very, very polite of Ben to be doing so.
This is why he didn't Ghost Quarter the Gavney Township though. He's just going for a small Sphinx's Rev here, draw a couple of cards, keep hitting land drops, and save a couple of damage again. So I'll be interested to see what Ben does now, whether he is going to activate that Gavney Township for some extra damage, or whether he did draw a spell. Okay, so he's got Cord.
And he's cording for 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cording for 3 for Sin Collector. Okay. That's quite good here. Yep.
We find the verdict.
Oh,
we find multiple verdicts.
Double verdict. So that was.
Cool.
I imagine the verdict is what Ben was a little worried about, and his fears have come true.
Found it. He found it. Good news is Dominic won't go verdict into untap and verdict you again.
Yeah, that's true.
But he might play Gideon.
Gideon does seem like a pretty good follow-up there. Quite good at...
What we've seen though is Dominic has nothing to contend with the combo.
It is true.
Verdict.
Yes.
So at this rate, he verdicts, Kitch and Finks will come back with a counter. If Ben decides to combo with Anafenza, Dominic's in trouble.
So, yep, we're seeing the Supreme Verdict come down. Kitchen Finks persist back.
He's also got the Gavney Township to keep pumping that, I guess. Or not.
Which is going to get Ghost Quartered now. And it's all going to come down to what Ben finds on top of his library and what he has in hand, I think. Which I think his hand was not looking too good. I think it was a land in the Kasali Pride Mage, so...
Yeah. The Kasali Pride Mage, not looking hot. Interestingly, we can make a comment about Ben's basic lands. Both individually pretty. Not as matching as...
From wildly different sets, you think? Okay, so just playing land.
No, it's a Pride Mage.
Yep.
What is...
Ender Birds. Okay, so
He's rebuilt his board.
getting it all out there and then hoping to hit another Gavany Township off the top, I imagine. Or just making sure you have as much mana as possible.
Dominic's got 2 lands in hand, the last we heard.
He's got that Gideon though, which...
that is true.
How does Gideon stack up against this board? So we got a 2-1, a 2-2, and then a 0-1. So Gideon comes in, goes to 7, and then takes 4. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely not terrible. It'll buy Dominic a few turns.
The unfortunate thing for Ben is if Dominic plays the Gideon here, and then Gideon doesn't die on the following turn's attack, then Celestial Colonnade is also going to be coming online to protect Gideon. Okay, so just playing Lingering Souls instead. And a Relic to protect against the combo. Leaving him with 1 card in hand, which we know is a Gideon. And passing it back.
Ben's deciding whether to crack this fetch.
Don't believe he knows any cards in his deck, so doesn't seem like there's any reason not to crack it. Seems like he needs to draw something quite good here to get him back into this game.
Curious to see, or I'd be curious to know what was in Dominic's hand before the Sphinx's Revelation.
Yes, I would as well. Whether he had the 1 verdict, or whether he drew 2 verdicts, whether he had the Gideon, but like 1 verdict in Gideon, or whether he had 1 verdict in lands. Yeah, it would be interesting to know. Okay, so just attacking with only the Kitchen Finks to get the Exalted trigger, it looks like.
They can still double block with the 2 tokens and get rid of it.
They can, yes, which...
Depending on what Ben has in hand.
It's interesting that he chose to attack with the Kitchen Finks there
No, not the...
instead of the Pride Mage itself.
Again, Dominic's just throwing 1 in front of it.
Yes. I suppose attacking with the Pride Mage opens you up to... No, because he knows his hand from the Sin Collector. It could potentially open you up to getting blocked by like a Snapcaster Mage if it was an unknown card, but...
But he knows the hand.
Yes, he does know his hand, and then I'm not solidly convinced how bad that would be for you, because if he Snapcasters for no value, then you can just sack and blow up his Relic, or you can just kill, you know, the multiple spirits and mage, so...
Yeah, I think I would have double blocked them.
Yeah, it seems like in the situation where the Finks is the only thing attacking, you should probably double block. But Dominic going for the conservative line to just buy the most number of turns, I imagine.
I think it's too linear. What he's done is a very control deck thing, but I don't think it was necessarily the right thing to be doing here. I mean, is he activating Celestial Colonnade right now?
I think that might be 5 mana for Gideon.
Sure.
Gonna come down. Whether it goes up or down is sort of interesting though. Whether you just kill the Finks or... Yeah, so we're sending Gideon upwards. So, Pride Mage just killing the Relic, Relic getting cracked in response, and draw a card, and then we see a Court of Calling. So, Court of Calling, quite a good draw here, but unfortunately, because that Kitchen Finks already has the counter on it, it's that much more difficult to get to the combo. Okay, just going for the value chord. Just chord for Eternal Witness, get back chord, and just slowly build out a little bit of a board here. Okay, just to untap. Draw a card for turn. Can't quite see what the card he drew for turn was. It's a land, okay. So it'll be interesting to see whether he just continues with this, what he did last turn of just courting again for, say, an Eternal Witness, get back chord, and just keep sort of looping like that, because with Dominic having Gideon Jura and then potentially more Lingering Souls or something like that, it doesn't really feel like courting for a 2-1 is really getting all that much done.
Creatures are attacking Gideon now.
Well,
Does the token roll?
yes. Do you block?
You block the Finks, right? It's a 2-1.
Yes, but then potentially the chord. It depends whether Ben wants to break the chord combo, because he can go and get Ewit and get back Kitchen Finks, and sort of go like.
Pontiff.
And yeah, there we go. Okay, Pontiff. Presumably for plus damage.
I would assume so. So plus damage not only kills the token, it gets across more damage.
Yeah.
It means that a single Ewit or a Kitchen Finks attacking Gideon next turn doesn't prevent him dying by a colonnade block. I mean, Gideon's just soaked up some damage in terms of him.
It's just whether that draw step that Gideon's bought has paid off.
Done anything, yeah.
Dominic has a couple of cards in hand, but last time we saw his hand, it was
Pretty empty.
pretty much just a collection of lands, so.
His top decks are also not very live apart from the other Elspeth, I guess. It's a lot of removal. Oh, and he's got a Sun Titan, sorry.
But he did just exile the graveyard, so his Sun Titan does not get sort of any value.
It's a large body.
Yeah, it is. It is a blocker. But I do think, yeah, the Sun's Champion would be the best draw here.
Gideon ticks off.
And oh, just passing the turn. Okay. That seems a little rough for Dominic.
He could be having, he could be keeping Colonnade up, or he could just have nothing.
I was almost sure he had another land in his hand, though. Not quite sure why he didn't play a land.
Oh, he's finally blocking the Finks.
Yeah, so block the Finks, and Gideon goes down to 1.
Ben plays a Spellscape.
Spellscape, okay. Okay, so interestingly, Dominic has chosen to let Spellskite resolve and then cast Path to Exile on the Spellskite. rather than in response killing, say, the Eternal Witness or.
Honestly, I think in this case, Spellskite is the most dangerous piece on this board. It's going to defend anything or any real threat that Ben has, and to be honest, and Ewit's just getting it for 2.
That's true.
Is just adding mana, and Pontiff Haunting isn't so dramatic at this point.
Okay, so Dominic plays Marsh Flats, goes to fetch. I'm wondering whether that means that he has drawn one of these large spells and is planning to tap down for, a 6-drop and then hold up the spell.
Is this the Elspeth?
We can.
One time.
Let's see. Is it Elspeth or is it's Sun Titan?
Every time.
So Sun Titan gets back a land.
Some Marsh Flats too.
Yep, presumably Gideon goes up. And
just one time. Get that Sun's Champion in.
Sun's Champion
3, 4 mana. I'm surprised he doesn't do it off the board.
And it is the Dispel. That's why he prefetched, yeah.
That's savage. Like, if you're Ben here and everything's getting answered, like what do you?
Right here, I continue to play it out because you never know. It's Magic, but
Game 3, it's untimed.
I'm not feeling particularly confident of my chances here.
Is there a top deck that he could draw that would possibly get him out of this position?
Well, his best draw is going to be Collected Company, I believe. Well, his graveyard's not that stocked, so Rally isn't even that good. So Dominic draws for his turn. He's going to tap a couple of mana to play a wall, draw a card off the wall. It's quite unfortunate that you can't sacrifice the wall in some way to get it back with Sun Titan, but okay. Chooses to 0 Gideon at this point and just get in there for damage.
The quicker that Dominic closes this game out, the less likely he's going to die to
Oh,
live
absolutely.
top deck from Ben. So, I mean, getting in there for damage is the best chance. I hate to say it, but Dominic's on a healthy life total of 7, and an Orzhov Pontiff attacking into, a 6/6 vigilant creature. Let's see what the top deck is. I'd be knocking my deck for whatever superstitious value that
Knock
has.
it and then flip
Knock
it straight onto the
flip it
table.
and shuffle it into the back of my hand, maybe. Do a bit of a Li Shiqian, just
Slow
uncover
roll
one
yourself,
at a time.
slow roll yourself.
Slow roll myself, slow roll my opponent, slow roll the entire event. But eventually get what I need. Company? Red
the reddest of caps.
You get the Gideon, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, you go face, redirect to Gideon because it gives you one more draw step.
He's 0'd this time, Gideon, so his creatures weren't forced to attack either. So
Yes.
he can block the Sun Titan this time.
Yeah, that's it. He can
Dominic
block
doesn't have much in his bin to get back that Titan. I believe it's a Path, a Dispel, and a Gideon. So.
He can sack the Marsh Flats and go and get
He's
that
also
back,
got the
but
Colonnade, so
yes, he does. But the birds can jump in the way of the colonnade.
he might need the mana.
Yeah, he could draw, a 10-drop. That is true.
He could potentially be playing Golemog.
Okay, we see
Ben takes the
block,
blocks.
everything dies, and Pontiff gets haunted onto the red cap.
Collected Company.
Company would be the best draw here, I think, but
we
see
Dominic's
ahead.
taking it out. Our finals will be Esper Control versus Grishol Brand. I'm very interested to see this.
I think Dominic's going to get a little punished for not having counter spells in the main deck.
Absolutely. But let's see how he takes the game.